Good morning, students. In last lecture, we studied about pressure, variation in pressure, and manometers, the types of manometers. Okay. Today, we are going to discuss about hydrostatic thrust on submerged surfaces. Whenever a body is placed over a liquid, either it sinks down or floats on the liquid. This is due to gravitational force or upthrust of the liquid. If the gravitational force is more than upthrust force of the liquid, the body will sink down. And if the gravitational force is less than upthrust force of the liquid, the body will float. Okay. So in this lecture we are going to discuss about hydrostatic thrust on submerged surfaces. Hydrostatic forces on submerged plane surfaces. A plate exposed to a liquid, such as a gate valve in a dam, the wall of a liquid storage tank is subjected to fluid pressure distributed over its surface. On a plane surface, the hydrostatic forces form a system of parallel forces, and we often need to determine the magnitude of force and its point of application, which is called as the center of pressure. Okay. In most cases, the other side of the plate is open to the atmosphere, such as the dry side of gate, and thus atmospheric pressure acts on both sides of the plate, yielding a zero resultant. As shown in figure, we can see P atmosphere considered, and in figure B, P atmosphere subtracted. Okay. In figure A, we can consider the P atmosphere on both sides of the tube, and in B, P atmosphere subtracted, that is rho GH, rho atmosphere plus rho GH. Okay. In such cases, it is convenient to subtract atmospheric pressure and work with the gauge pressure only. Then hydrostatic forces on submerged plane surfaces. Consider the top surface of a flat plate of arbitrary shape, completely submerged in a liquid. In the figure, you can see the different centroid, center of pressure, plane surface of area A, and the pressures which are acting on it. And below figure, pressure distribution has been shown, pressure prism of volume V and plane surface has been shown, and the different pressures. The plane of this surface, normal to the page, intersects the horizontal free surface with an angle theta, and we take the line of intersection to be the x-axis. The absolute pressure above the liquid is P0, which is the local atmospheric pressure P atom. If the liquid is open to the atmosphere, but P0 may be different than P atmosphere if the space above the liquid is evacuated or pressurized. Then the absolute pressure at any point on the plate is P is equal to P0 plus rho GH equal to P0 plus rho GY sin theta, where H is the vertical distance of the point from the free surface and Y is the distance of the point from the x-axis. The resultant hydrostatic force Fr acting on the surface is determined by integrating the force P dA acting on a differential area dA over the entire surface area. So, resultant hydrostatic force Fr is equal to integration A to 0 P dA equal to A to 0 in bracket P0 plus rho g y sin theta dA equal to P0A plus rho g sin theta integration A to 0 y dA. But the first moment of area A integration y dA is related to the y coordinate of the centroid or center of the surface by yc is equal to 1 divided by A integration A y dA. Substituting resultant force Fr is equal to in bracket P0 plus rho g y c sin theta bracket complete A equal to in bracket P0 plus rho g h c in bracket complete A equal to PCA equal to P average A, where PC equal to P0 plus rho GHC is the pressure at the centroid of the surface, which is equivalent to the average pressure on the surface, and Hc equal to Yc sin theta is the vertical distance of the centroid from the free surface of the liquid. You can see in the graph P atmosphere, free surface, centroid of surface, height Hc, center, then P average equal to Pc equal to P atmosphere plus rho GHC. Thus, we conclude that in figure line of action is shown there, center of pressure, centroid of area. Okay, so after studying this, we can conclude that the magnitude of the resultant force acting on a plane surface of completely submerged plate in a homogeneous constant density fluid is equal to the product of the pressure Pc at the centroid of the surface and the area A of the surface. Then center of pressure. The line of action of the resultant hydrostatic force in general does not pass through the centroid of the surface. It lies underneath where the pressure is higher. The point of intersection of the line of action of the resultant force and the surface is the center of pressure. The vertical location of the line of action is determined by equating the moment of the resultant force to the moment of the distributed pressure force about the x-axis. It gives that ypfr equal to integration A to ypdA equal to integration A y in bracket p0 plus rho g y sin theta in bracket complete dA equal to P0 integration y dA plus rho g sin theta integration y square dA, or yp into Fr equal to P0 yCA plus rho g sin theta Ixx 0, where yp is the distance of the center of pressure from the x-axis and Ixx 0 equal to integration y square dA to the limit A is the second moment of area, also called the area moment of inertia about the x-axis. The second moments of area are widely available for common shapes in engineering handbooks, but they are usually given about the axis passing through the centroid of the area. Fortunately, the second moment of area about two parallel axes are related to each other by the parallel axis theorem, which is in this case is expressed as Ixx 0 or O equal to I double x c plus yc square a, where I double x c is the second moment of area about the x-axis passing through the centroid of the area, and yc in bracket the y coordinate of the centroid is the distance between the two parallel axes. Substituting the resultant force relation and the IXO relation and solving for Yp gives Yp is equal to Yc plus IXC divided by in bracket Yc plus P0 divided by in bracket rho g sin theta bracket complete into A. For P0 is equal to 0, which is usually the case when the atmospheric pressure is ignored, it simplifies to Yp is equal to Yc plus IXC divided by Yca. Knowing Yp, the vertical distance of the center of pressure from the free surface is determined from Hp is equal to Yp sin theta. Then IXC values for some common areas are given below. For these and other areas that possesses symmetry about the y-axis, the center of pressure lies on the x-axis directly below the centroid. The location of the center of pressure in such cases is simply the point of the surface of the vertical plane of symmetry at a distance hp from the free surface. Here we see the different shapes: rectangular, circle, ellipse, triangle, semicircle, semi-ellipse, and the center of pressure we can see C, and the formulas related to that different shapes. Area for rectangle, area is equal to A into B, and IXC is equal to AB cube divided by 12, where height is B and width is A. Okay, such like that all the shapes having their areas and IXC equal to has been given for different shapes for rectangular, circle, ellipse, triangle, semicircle, semi-ellipse, etc. Special case: submerged rectangular plate. Tilted plate here is shown in the figure, and the resultant force for it has been shown. Consider a completely submerged rectangular flat plate of height b and width tilted at an angle theta from the horizontal, and whose top edge is horizontal, and it is at a distance from the free surface along the plane of the plate as shown in figure. The resultant hydrostatic force on the upper surface is equal to the average pressure, which is the pressure at a midpoint of the surface, times the surface area A. That is Fr equal to PCA equal to P0 plus rho g in bracket S plus B by 2 bracket complete sin theta into AB. The force acts at a vertical distance of HP is equal to Yp sin theta from the free surface directly beneath the centroid of the plate, where Yp is equal to S plus B by 2 plus AB cube divided by 12 divided by in bracket S plus B by 2 plus P0 divided by in bracket rho g sin theta bracket complete into AB equal to S plus B by 2 plus B square divided by 12 S plus B by 2 plus P0 divided by rho g sin theta. When the upper edge of the plate is at the free surface, and thus S0 is equal to 0. Tilted rectangular plate S is equal to 0, and resultant force is equal to P0 plus rho g bracket B sin theta divided by 2 bracket complete into AB. Here we can see for vertical plate and for horizontal plate. Resultant force equal to, for vertical plate, P0 plus rho g in bracket S plus B by 2 into AB. For horizontal plate, resultant force is equal to P0 plus rho GH bracket into AB. Then for a submerged curved surface, the determination of the resultant hydrostatic force is more involved, since it typically requires the integration of the pressure forces that change direction along the curved surface. The easiest way to determine the resultant hydrostatic force Fr acting on a two-dimensional curved surface is to determine the horizontal and vertical components, that is Fh and Fv, separately. Consider the free body diagram of the liquid block enclosed by the curved surface and the two plane surfaces, one horizontal and one vertical, passing through the two ends of the curved surface as shown in the figure below. These are the figures which shows curved surface and free body diagram of the enclosed liquid block. Okay, the resultant force acting on the curved solid surface is then equal and opposite to the force acting on the curved liquid surface, that is Newton's third law. The weight of the enclosed liquid block of volume phi is simply W is equal to rho g phi, and it acts downward through the centroid of this volume. Noting that the fluid block is in the static equilibrium, the force balances in the horizontal and vertical directions gives horizontal force component on curved surface Fh is equal to Fx, and vertical force component on curved surface Fe is equal to Fy plus W, where the summation Fy plus W is a vector addition, that is add magnitude if both act in the same direction and subtract if they act in a opposite direction. The magnitude of the resultant hydrostatic force acting on the curved surface is Fr is equal to under square root Fh square plus Fv square, and the tangent of the angle it makes with the horizontal is tan alpha is equal to Fe divided by Fh. Thus we conclude that the horizontal component of the hydrostatic force acting on a curved surface is equal in both magnitude and the line of action to the hydrostatic force acting on the vertical projection of the curved surface. The vertical component of the hydrostatic force acting on a curved surface is equal to the hydrostatic force acting on the horizontal projection of the curved surface, plus minus if acting in the opposite direction, the weight of the fluid block. The location of the line of action of the resultant force, for example, its distance from one of the end point of the curved surface, can be determined by taking a moment about an appropriate point. In figure, we can see curved surface, Fx direction, Fy, and weight W. When a curved surface is above the liquid, the weight of the liquid and the vertical component of the hydrostatic force act in the opposite direction. When the curved surface is a circular arc, as shown in the figure, resultant force, circular force, pressure forces, and the circular arc, full circle or any part of it, the resultant hydrostatic force acting on the surface always passes through the center of the circle. This is because the pressure forces are normal to the surface, and all lines normal to the surface of a circle pass through the center of the circle. Thus, pressure forces form a concurrent force system at the center, which can be reduced to a single equivalent force at that point. Finally, hydrostatic forces acting on a plane or curved surface submerged in a multi-layered fluid of different densities can be determined by considering different parts of surface in different fluids as different surfaces, finding the force on each part and then adding them using vector addition For a plane surface, it can be expressed as Fr is equal to summation Fri equal to summation Pci Ai, where Pci equal to P0 plus rho I GHCI is the pressure at the centroid of the portion of the surface in fluid I, and Ai is the area of the plate in that fluid. The line of action of this equivalent force can be determined from the requirement that the moment of equivalent force about any point is equal to the sum of the moments of the individual forces about the same point. Plane surface in a multi-layered fluid, we can get resultant force equal to summation of Fr I is equal to summation of Pc and I Ai. The hydrostatic force on a surface submerged in a multi-layered fluid can be determined by considering parts of surface in different fluids as different surface as shown in the figure. Okay, so in this lecture we studied about hydrostatic forces on submerged curved surface or different surface curves. Okay, thank you very much.